TFT Grand Finale, third game. We'll see what people go for. Actually, a lot of variety. Um, People are choosing a lot of things except for, Mbappe didn't get what he wanted, so goes for the cloak. I guess on Kled, he could play Kled. I don't think he has played Kled. I'm not sure if he has played Kled during this tournament. Is that risky? Okay, boss.
In the checkmate format to a certain extent, right? You expect to get into a situation where people are playing for first because that's how you're ultimately going to win the tournament. I'm a little surprised to see us get there so quickly, though, Doa, right? Or normally you would want to kind of earn your points, get your solid top fours, try to get over that threshold, and then go there.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things where we have the different points breakdown in this final lobby compared to earlier in the week. Because if we had just the 8-1, point spread, then it would take genuinely a little bit longer to get there, at least, 3 games. Whereas theoretically, you can do it in 2 if you get a first and then either, like a second or better, I suppose. But yeah, so and like Mort calculated it out, even with this points format, you could go 10 games. So with the thinking about the other one, we could be here for like multiple days. We could have almost a whole other week of Worlds at that point, which, it's a lot of games with these players. That might not be the best thing, but might not be the greatest thing for our sanity by the end of the show either. So you can see kind of why the change came in as far as the point spread goes. And as you can also see, we've got a little bit of a pause, so we'll get that figured out and get you guys back into the game soon. But let me touch on something that we were talking about a little bit before the broadcast, where we've got 3 players from China in this lobby, and it seems like China does tend to have a very distinct regional style in teamfight tactics. And so how much impact, in your opinion, does having 3 players from that region sort of push the other players in the lobby to acclimate to that sort of different style?
I don't think we've seen the impact of that just yet. I mean, China, first of all, their meta is very polarized in terms of tempo. They tend to play extremely aggressively into Lost Streak. We saw Wan Mi like playing full open and transitioning multiple times in this tournament on 3-3, 3-5 and rolling it all in. Or they tend to play aggressively pushing tempo and pushing streak. But that's not too dissimilar from what we're seeing in the other regions where, hey, if you're high rolling early, oftentimes you are pushing levels, right? We've seen Esha leveling off cadence many times as well as other players. And on the flip side, we've seen people like Delicious Milk, playing not full open fort, but very comfortably lost streaking on Kled and playing from behind on HP. So I don't think that the Chinese players have a distinct meta advantage in the final lobby, if that's what you're asking.
No, it's more just if these other players are playing this way, how much do you have to sort of adjust your style? Sometimes you can just say, all right, well, I'm just going to do my thing. Other times, if those players are taking those risks, rolling down earlier, leveling earlier, if you don't keep up with that tempo, you can fall behind in that way too. In fact, we've seen, I feel like, some NA and European players who tend to favor economy more than the players from Asia fall behind because of that too. So where you got 3 players from China, sometimes I feel like that can kind of have sort of an effect on the rest of the players where you feel a little bit more compelled to play it a little bit more fast-paced than you might be comfortable with. That said, I think the other players in our lobby, besides the Chinese players, are certainly able to play that style if they feel like they need to. And sometimes, especially with the addition of the Radiant Blessing into the game, it's actually fine to fall behind in tempo in order to get that big advantage from the stimulus, theoretically, and then have that big spike, right?
Yeah, the Radiant Blessing has the potential to be the great equalizer, right? A true comeback mechanic. To date in TFT, the comeback mechanic was, well, you get priority on the carousel, and that can matter, right? Getting the correct itemization for units is a really big deal, but adding the Radiant Blessing is just another layer on top of that can emphasize coming back in games. And when you put that on top of, for example, the Draconic trait, which has been heavily favored in this lobby to date, there are going to be enough people that are kind of playing a greedier style, sacrificing HP in exchange for future, hopeful potential board strength, that I don't think we felt like there's been an enormous amount of pressure. It's not like the entire lobby is getting played on a really aggressive and therefore punishing tempo.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting too, because the points format and just the checkmate format in general for the final lobby is gonna also have a big influence over how people play today, right? Where once you cross that threshold, it's first or nothing. At that point, a second to 8th doesn't matter. All you want is a first. So you're going to be taking those bigger chances and trying to play those comps that are going to get you a first, maybe at the cost of taking some 7s, some 8s. We've seen players in the past go 7, 7, 7 and then win the tournament, right? So let's get back into the game. Back on board with Mbappe again. Player who's currently 3rd in points overall at 12. So one of 5 players, actually, Bryce, that has a chance to cross that threshold in Game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And S. Mbappe picking up right where he left off in the previous day.
Yeah, interesting. Will he play Kled because he already has one item for him? I don't think he should risk it because people are probably gonna deny him hard because if he gets like 6 points, he gets to the threshold and he can win the be close to winning. Oh, another
It's
Kled.
interesting. The other player that kind of jumps out like that is G2 from China, who had
Oh,
3 bot
Irelia,
fours
so
and 2
yeah, he
firsts
doesn't.
in his lobby coming into this one. Now, obviously, today, playing a bit more consistent with 16 points overall, but was until today kind of a bit of a first or eighth gamer as well. But let's check out Esha, a player who won the last lobby. Now with that Vayne 2 early on, just a cloak and a tier, though. We have seen some people re-roll Vayne, but unless he gets like a bow or something here, I don't think it's really going to be on the menu for him this time.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. I mean, I don't expect Esha to be re-rolling Vayne with this set of items. I think there's also a reality to his situation, which is in the checkmate format, there is no difference to Esha between getting 18 points and getting 26 points here. Esha's only job in this game is to not take an 8th place. And
Absolutely.
I really hope to see him adjust his style as a result of that. This is the type of game where you should be rolling on 6, you should be rolling on 7, you should be slamming your items, you should be doing anything and everything you can do to preserve HP along the way, even if it's not how you would approach a ladder game, for example, or a standard tournament game, because to Esha, a 7th place here is identical to go 1st place.
He needs to get like 7th place. That's what he needs. But yeah, he has a really terrible item setup. Cloak tier, it feels like rigged. Super bad. But we'll see what he gets. Maybe he gets like Sunfire, then he can do something. Because without Sunfire, like, and then maybe play AP, but AP is very dangerous. He wants to play like AD, flex it. Roll at 7, 8. Oh, interesting. Okay, he goes for the rod. Not something that he can use immediately, but yeah, maybe a safer option for early game would have been, yeah, Varmox. Well, interesting. But I guess he needs a rod if he goes AP with these items.
Items for Delicious Milk and a lot of potential power on his board, so we'll have to keep an eye on how things are going for him. Hopping up with Chitu, who has been doing very well today, the other player in the lobby who just needs to not go 8th place, in a pretty good position to do that, slamming a Sunfire early, a great HP preservation item.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the greatest ways to ensure that you have a strong early and mid game is that Sunfire Cape. It's just going to be one of the best ways to win early rounds. He's got the Vladimir 2 as well, which is another unit that can oftentimes survive a lot of these early rounds. He's even got things like the Lee Sin. So this is just like the ultimate early safe board from G2. A couple 2-stars and he should have absolutely nothing to worry about here.
Yeah, absolutely nothing to worry about against Quan Mi's board, who's playing a whole bunch of 1-star Hellions. Not playing Kled, by the way. Also has put some money into the level key. Has some generically powerful items. I expect to see Juan Mi just try to lean into Lost Streak from this spot. Taking stock of the lobby, it looks like Shurikane is also leaning into Lost Streak. So unfortunate opening for Shurikane, looking for a bounce-back game.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about managing that loss streak, right? And Shurikane is one of those players that needs to have a bigger win, so he's going to be, you know, even in game 3, he's going to need to be one of those players that takes those bigger risks, right? So hopefully it pans out for him. We want to see a close finish. Let's go check out Jixing Che's board here. Jixing Che right now, 9 points, another one of our players that could theoretically with a...
I see that actually no one has a really good opener. This person won 2 rounds. Well, he has a decent, like, Kazakhs probably is doing a lot. But Cavaliers earlier are not that good. Yeah, no one. I haven't seen, probably maybe like, yeah, I haven't seen like Sentinel Skirm, like a really good opener. And this person was in 2-win streak. Well, I guess the matchmaking, but really, really interesting. Let's see what people get. Okay.
System from those Cavaliers, so will not be win streaking. Our only player at 100 HP still is S. Mbappe.
Right, I'm looking at the sidebar now to see what the items are looking. All right, Juanmi was a bunch of gloves. He picks up the sword as well, so we could go like IE Last Whisper or something like that. Haven't seen, I don't recall what was on his board yet. Meanwhile, Shurikane picks up a rod, I believe it was.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Really interesting to take a look at this uncombined item chart. You have 3 players with 4 components. You have a bunch of players with 2 components still open as well. Not as much tempo-based item slamming as we're used to seeing. It feels like it matches the overall tenor of the lobby so far. It's been a lot of kind of first or eighth oriented gameplay, which is a little surprising to me at this stage of the tournament. But if everyone is leaning into that path, then I sort of get it. Meanwhile, you have Nukamaro, who has slammed an early Rage Blade onto the Zyra, has the 4 Spellweavers with that early Vel'Koz. Yeah, that's very fast. A little bit unfortunate. He slams the Rage Blade and is leaning towards playing a Zyra-based composition at this point, and then hits the high roll early Vel'Koz.
Well, you can play,
yeah, I mean, that's going to be one where you,
really
I mean, you've still
good.
got the tiers, so I guess you could still do like a Shojin's later for it, but you're going to be a little bit split, right? And the problem with this is that your front line is going to just be a little bit weaker. The Vel'Koz gets a cast off, but barely before it gets cut down by the Olaf from Delicious Milk. And Olaf, just again, playing like a strong tempo board as well as he can, but it's interesting to go back to the item conversation a little bit. See players like Jixingche like saving 4 components, and again we talked about how he really needs, in order to cross that threshold, like a first basically. So you're gonna wait and really try to like best in slot something, right? Because I think the mindset there is, we talk about in-game tempo, there's also lobby tempo throughout the course of the day, right? And a first will get him over that threshold, right? Anything else will get him close enough that he can just get it that next game, right? So might as well play a high risk, you know, first or nothing style this game too.
Well, I would actually disagree with that. I think that the way in which I would approach the situation is, if you have 9 points like Zixingche does or like Nukamaro does, you are not guaranteed to get there in 2 games. If you play a first-rate style and you take the 8th, you go from 9 points to 10 points, and you're in a situation where you must get a top 2 to then get over the threshold. So if I were in their shoes, how I would be approaching it is, let's try to get a good start and try to get us into...
Yeah, many people just don't realize it. Yeah, you lose a lot of HP, but... losing this HP for so much gold is very valuable, especially at this point of the game. Because if you win, you're just dead either way. Draconic start, especially. We'll see what he goes. He has Draconic start and Last Whisper. That's interesting because if you're playing like Draconics, you usually go for like early levels and then just roll down. Actually, he could go for Assassins. I didn't see his rest of his items with Last Whisper, and because you don't need these early units, you need like late units for Assassins. I haven't seen actually anyone play them. I think they're too risky and not that good unless you high roll them.
Choosing to actually hyper roll, not something we've seen a lot of recently. Most players have elected to kind of play the slow roll where you stay above 50 gold. I don't expect to see him roll much past 30 in this situation, particularly since he hasn't found any more veins. Very unlucky. He is still rolling that 1 vein away. Okay, so we are online. He's going to be able...
Like, I see not a lot of players do this because like the probability of you hitting like 1-star units at level 4 is way higher than level 5, and if there's like no veins in the pool and like people haven't sold their 1-cost units, it's really beneficial to do it, especially if you have gold and you need especially this one cost like vein. Rolling down to certain extent is pretty good, and then you can just go level 6 and just roll for your other forgotten units. Actually, yeah, that's what he did. He wants to stabilize. Interesting, he did level. Well, yeah, it spiked his board a lot. It would save his HP. 4 knights is very powerful at this point of the game. Damage, the basic attack damage is not that high. To just ignore the knight reduction. You even play the late game sometimes, so imagine having this bonus so early. So these are like Jack's items. Interesting. Well, I guess he did not have anything else. He needs to build it. He's level 6, so he's not playing Glad. Really, okay, I don't know why he wants to play this Jack so bad, because Jack is super underwhelming. I guess he had like early Olaf, he wanted to win streak. Yeah, he decides to play. Well, Riven it could be really good because it's a legionnaire, but yeah, having two useless legionnaires against like knights is not even comparable. But we'll see what he goes for. Could still play something like Lucian, but these items are bad for Lucian. You need damage, like Hodge. Uh, for mixed damage, and like Giant Slayer also for mixed damage. Killing those tanks. Yeah, these items are all of his. They're doing work. He wants to play Jax, and he's well. If you're playing Jax, you probably want to go for Jax 3. And yeah, if you get him early, then you can win streak pretty hard because you have these knights, and Jax just keeps on stacking with these nice items. So gets a belt. What was his uncombined item? Yeah. Really is big, but I don't think he wanted the belt. Because for Jax, I don't think you really need banshees, because you are going to get tagged anyway on the front line. Has two Vel'Kezes with two separate items. Interesting. So okay, there's a Lucian player. Yeah, when you're playing Lucian, you yeah, you really want Galio with Gargoyle. Just provides so much frontline and can taunt your units. And yeah, Lucian with Giant Slayer. We'll see what they get from armory. I think it's really important because not that many people are actually have committed yet. Ooh, that's an interesting. Well, that's not good. I'm not sure what he gets because none of these are damage items, right? If he goes for something like Titans, it's good for someone else. He needs to pivot out of A-bomb, and I think that's if he goes for Archangels, he could go for something like Kale, but I don't think he would risk that, especially with this opener. He has 0 knights and etc. It would be a really big pivot. Like Gunblade is decent on Vel'Koz, but yeah, it was the only option, so he's committing to Vel'Koz, but he doesn't have any damage, so that's the issue. Like having Gunblade on a unit that doesn't have like any AP is really risky. Like he could just die fast. Doesn't have any rods, any gloves, like yeah. He's playing on a knife's edge. We'll see what he goes for. Okay, sure can. Yeah, he did commit to this hyper roll strategy, rolling at level 4, and because of that he's on a win streak, and he probably would. Yeah, rolling at 5, yeah, you increase your chances to roll your 2 costs, but yeah, having this Swain with all of these items is just way more valuable, because there's no. Yeah, you probably won't hit your 3 stars. Yeah. on your other units. Alright, these are decent items, action items. Actually, Lucian with Runans is pretty good, but it deals based on your AD. Yeah, that's interesting, especially the Deadblade. Maybe he wants, yeah, he wants to play Akshan definitely. I don't think that he wants. Well, he could play. I think he still wants to play Aphelios. Really wants to play Aphelios because he has blue buff for Teemo, and these items are a lot better on Aphelios. But yeah, Lucian is a decent, not decent, but excellent item carrier. Like these could be like he. There's a decent chance that he will commit to playing Lucian. It depends on how many other players are playing Aphelios at this point of the game. Okay, so there's another. This is a Aphelios player, and these are really good items. Though he doesn't have healing, but yeah, Radiant Titans are really powerful. Level 7 roll down and not hitting. This is like a really frustrating spot. You really don't have any like other pivots. Well, this Riven probably is going to do work, but not enough. He needs this Aphelios as soon as possible. He has Hodge. Really a lot of offensive items. Probably, okay, what did he build? Okay. He has Spat. What can he build? He doesn't have armor, so no Cavalier Spat. Probably AP items on Teemo or Diana. Could be also Fiddlesticks. But most likely it will be Rage Blade and then Tier Renewer. It could be a Renewer on someone because, okay, he hit Akshan. He did actually, yeah. He pivoted, gets some frontline. Okay, another Aphelios. Yeah, he's on a desperate position. He really wants this team up, but the chance of him getting it is not that good. Okay, he's on the wrong spot, unfortunately for him. Okay, Vel'Koz. Okay, Vel'Koz doesn't have any damage items. He does have healing though. But Vel'Koz doesn't really want healing without. What's the point of it healing if you don't really have damage to supplement it? What's the point of healing your whole team? Wait, who had the spat? Did he have the spat? If he had, then it's force of nature. I don't remember who. Okay, that's. I think he had. I think this was the person who had spat. So if he has a spat, yep, that's a force of nature. That's most likely is going to be a blue buff, and right now he doesn't have. Actually, could be Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks is actually a really good Morello carrier because he applies to a decent amount of units and he applies it over time. Okay, how is he doing? Oh, he's on first place. All he needs is not to go 8, and I think it could happen. Most likely it's gonna happen. Well, that was a really unfortunate game for him. Like this one, little Viego just single-handedly won this round. Yeah, Phileas is probably the most reliable carry, having like a dead plate, because if you have a dead plate, then you don't need really. It's not like that mandatory to get him 2-star like that early. You can just wait, and because he already has AD from his dead blade. Of course, it's very very important to 2-star him, but it's not mandatory. So doing this tab W swaps, actually this is a good thing. Most people don't use it, even if they know that it is a possibility. So you basically bind your W is putting a champion on a board and then removing it. So there's a weird interaction when you put like another key on it. Like you can put two keys, like let's say tab or end, you have W, and when you click on the unit really fast, it kind of double applies to it. You don't need to click on your bench, you click on it twice and then with different keys, and it just does the work. I think it will be fixed because it wasn't intended. I don't think it was, most likely. Someone found it. So what happened to his... He did put a rod, which means that he won't be able to... Well, he's low. He needs to. Volley burn, that's nice. So, for spellweavers, I don't... Well, Well, for spellweavers are kind of important because you don't have damage on Vel'Koz, and it really supplements it. But the issue that is that he doesn't. We'll see how much damage he can do with 2 spellweavers. Ooh, that's like the worst case scenario. His ultimate was cancelled immediately after he started. Yeah, Runance on Vayne is really good, right? But Radiant Runance, I don't really like because it deals based on your AD, right? It doesn't really make a difference because you're mostly focusing on your true damage, and it doesn't really increase your true damage. But it's still really good, and he probably didn't have any other good options. And yeah, it's not the best. I would rather play Radiant Hodge or another Rageblade perhaps, or even Rabadons, something like, or Spell Crit, maybe something like that would be. I would say it's better for Vayne. Okay, he doesn't have. Okay, he's playing Kled. Actually, it's a good synergy, good 2 synergies. But his board is super weak. He doesn't have. Yeah, I guess he's 8. Actually, if this was 6, 6 redeemed, then maybe this would be a better way to play it, because you can just at the end of the round get like you can get a lot of healing with your MR and just 1v9 with your super carry Vel'Koz. Okay, that's a hit. And with these items, this is really good. Also has really good items on Galio. This is like, if you hit this is like, you think that this is a top 4. That's what you think. Interesting, he actually has a Forgotten, Spat, at least I think that he got it early and he did not know what he's gonna play. And he thought that out of all of these options, that was the most flexible one. Okay, Milk. What happened to him? Well, he has decent Achilles items. So I want to see what people are going for. Mbappe. What was he playing? Looks like Lucian. At least items. Yeah, it feels bad to play Lucian in these lobbies. Unless you have like IE, Spell Crit and Hodge. Like insane damage. You can't really win the game. It's really difficult because other comps will outscale you, and you leveling to 9 is not that beneficial because you all you need is 6 Sentinels and the rest is like sometimes like Renewer or like Knights or Ironclads or something like that, but don't, or like Assassins like Diana, but these are not like game changing. Well, Diana could be, but like the synergies are not really game changing, right? All you need is 6 Sentinels. That's why at level 7 you spike so hard. Even at level 6 you could, but you don't really get Lucians that fast. They both have spell crits on them. Really similar compositions. Fortunately, he lost. Oh, okay. So will he swap the items? But he already has. I don't think he should, because like Akshan is really good unit. All he can change is like having Rage Blade. Yeah. He could have done it before, but yeah. I guess all he needs is Buttister. And now he can maybe get something good. Well, depends on luck. Probably not. Probably there's a very low chance that he will get like what he wants. Like, there's like a couple of items like. But he couldn't win with this. Okay, this is not good. He doesn't. Well, it's not that bad. He doesn't have like a lot of AP. It's magic resistance reduction is not going to help, but yeah, he has Teemo, it deals some damage. Diana, but yeah, it's something. It's not like Sunfire or like a useless spat that is not going to benefit them. Actually, a lot of spats would benefit him because he has a lot of different synergies. So Sugarcane. Okay, he's on a 9 win streak with this Vayne. He still stinks if he wants to play 6 Forgotten or Ironclad. I don't think that 6 Forgotten is that necessary. I think having this survivability against these AD compositions probably benefits him more. Yeah, no Rage Blade Lucian. Actually, in this case, it could be better because Vayne is killing enemies very fast. In this case, actually, this item composition was better than, let's say, Rage Blade, I think, because yeah, Vayne is just too fast at killing enemies. It's really difficult to say how. Well, this Akshan has two CC protections, and that's really important because like if you get stunned. Do we have enough stuns? We don't have like thrashes that could really hurt Akshan. So Akshan could win, but it's really like high risk because you can just be on the other side of Lucian and just get wrecked. So Lucian is winning this. But it's all he needed. He just needed a few points and... Ooh, double Akshan. He doesn't have any items for him except for Infinite Edge, which yeah, he's not going to play. Actually, he could, yeah, really had good items for him. Even though Giant Slayer is not the best, because you will try to access backline. You need Giant Slayer if you don't have that. And not that many units. All you need is like AD, but yeah, it's decent, especially having 4 Cannoners. But yeah, he doesn't have a lot of AD, so Cannoner is not going to benefit him that much, I think. Okay, let's... Ooh, Akshan is living. Yeah, this Giant Slayer at this point of the game for Milk is going... Yeah, how did he get it? Really good. So... The nice Infinite Edge, or... I guess IE for his assassin. Probably Viego. Oh, he can't afford Timo. 2 Viego, so the positioning is going to change. Yeah, I feel it won't be that easy to steal him because of double Banshees. And Vayne is safe. In the corner. Oh, what happened? Why did it... Yeah, that's why. What triggered his... Was it a Phyllis? Did a Phyllis get the Banshees? I didn't see, but... Yeah, that's why you need Banshees, because if you don't have Banshees, at least one Banshees, Diana is going to just destroy you, and you can't recover. So he's positioning openly. Interesting. Interesting positioning. He lost because of that. I don't know, why wouldn't you hide Vayne? Because it's all about your Vayne. Well, you don't want a corner because like Diana would destroy all of you, I guess, but yeah, you need to hide it. So I guess that's game number 3. Milk finally got it.